In this episode, I sit down with Lauren Fisher. Lauren is a newly retired 9 times CrossFit Games athlete, as well as entrepreneur and soon-to-be mom. She is the founder of Grown Strong and, alongside her husband, runs Grown Strong Retreats, which are fitness experiences for both men and women to destinations around the world. And after having participated in 2 of those retreats myself, I can confidently say they are some of the coolest trips you will ever take. In our conversation, Lauren shares her journey with food both as a professional athlete and in everyday life. We talk about how she moves through seasons of low motivation, the role faith plays in her life, and so much more. This is a longer episode than what I normally record, but one you will definitely want to listen to all the way to the end. Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go. I remember laying in bed, mentally taking inventory of every item I ate at the work party, beating myself up because I had cheated on my diet again and felt bloated and just downright disgusting afterwards. And this wasn't the first time either. I just don't have the willpower to stay strong at stuff like that, I told myself. In a moment of prayer, begging the Lord to make me stronger, it was almost as if he told me, "It's not your lack of strength. I made you plenty strong. You're just focusing on the wrong path." And in that moment, it was like a light bulb flipped on, and I immediately got curious about what God has to say about healthy eating. Now, 7 years later, I have complete control over my food choices, even the cravings and temptations. I never feel guilty about what I eat. I have energy all day and a lean, toned body that I actually feel confident in. As a part of my testimony, I want to give you all the same tools so you can experience the same freedom with food. That's why on October 23rd, I will be hosting a virtual workshop called the Food Freedom Formula. In this 1-day, 1-hour free event, I will be giving you the exact method I use in my own life and with hundreds of nutrition clients to make healthy eating your lifestyle, not just another fad diet you have to white knuckle your way through. This has the power to change your life. You just need to save your virtual seat at coachrain.com/foodfreedom, and I'll give you the rest. Don't wait because seats are nearly gone. Sign up today for free at coachreign.com/food freedom.
Well, how are you, Mama? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm getting just let's see if we can see my belly. I'm
Dang,
getting
girl.
big.
Which again, thank you so much for carving out the time to be on the podcast. I know, yeah, you're a very busy woman, always are, and there is a baby who is about to be here. I actually think by the time this episode airs, you will have baby girl in your arms.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting.
That is bonkers. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, before we dive in, I actually have a confession that I need to make to you, which came to my mind as I was preparing for this. It's a funny story. So, back in 2016, when I first started CrossFit, I drank the Kool-Aid hard. I was super into it. I was like, I love this sport. And I watched the games that year for the first time. I had never even heard of the CrossFit Games. And I just remember vividly thinking, these girls are badasses. And like, these are my people. I want to be just like them. I remember I followed 3 people specifically, Katrin, Brooke Entz, and you. Actually, I followed your brother too, because I thought the sibling dynamic was really cool.
Yeah.
So you were like part of that first group of people that really were like my role models and influences in my beginning days of CrossFit. And then fast forward like 4 years when I actually moved to San Diego, I remember thinking this in the drive-in. I wonder if I'll ever cross paths with Lauren Fisher. Like I'm pretty
Oh
sure
my
she still
gosh, that's
lives
so
there.
funny. And now
And so
look at us.
now,
And now look at us,
exactly.
friends, and inviting you over for dinner, enjoying dinner at our house, fully gutted and everything.
Isn't that crazy? Like we've traveled the world together. Our
Yeah.
husbands are like best friends. So
Yeah.
I just 22-year-old Chelsea would be so amped to know like this was happening.
Yeah.
It's just a very full circle moment for me. So I just wanted to fangirl on you for a second. I totally had
No,
forgotten that that was something that I had going on in my life, and like now
that's
here we
so
are.
funny.
So
And now look at here we are.
yeah. Okay, so I have a lot of questions for you. I don't know how many we're gonna get through, but let's just dive in. You're a professional athlete, newly retired, but you're best known for 9 CrossFit Games appearances, both individual and in team. We've watched your evolution in the fitness world in the gym, but what I really want to know more about is your journey with food. I know you're kind of crunchy like me, like we drink raw milk, we eat liver. But have you always been that way? What has that relationship with food been like for you?
So I guess growing up with three older brothers, I was always really lucky that I never really had like a bad relationship with food. Basically, if you didn't eat fast enough in my family, then the food would be gone at dinner. And
Yeah.
so like I was always eating a lot of food growing up. But it's actually funny to think about. I was thinking about this the other day, like my food journey has definitely evolved. I feel like all of us who have been drinking the CrossFit Kool-Aid for over 10 years or so. Actually, I was talking about this with my brother because originally, we would go to church on Sundays and my parents would always treat us with either McDonald's, the egg sandwiches after church, or we could choose between donuts. So it was like donuts or egg sandwiches from McDonald's, and that was like our treat to get us to go to church on Sundays. And
I
so
love that.
I was like, we did not eat very healthy. And then Baskin Robbins used to be a treat if we would get straight A's on our report card. But then it turned into my mom bringing us to Baskin Robbins every Friday for ice cream. And then we had like the Pizza Hut dinners that you got when you like read all your books. And we would go to like Blockbuster and get a huge thing of candy. Growing up, my parents did not limit the food that I ate. And like we definitely ate fast food and everything. Which is really funny. Like now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine my daughter like eating any fast food. Like I want to avoid seed oils and all of that. But I think you kind of have to go through not having that restrictive attitude to finally figure out like what you actually want to eat nutritionally. And so obviously, growing up, I mean, we didn't eat the greatest. And then come high school was when I started getting more into CrossFit. And then my brother Garrett actually dove deep into paleo. So he like went full paleo on the family and was throwing out everything in the pantry. And my mom was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "We need to eat healthier." And so I remember during high school, I would have for lunch just turkey meat. So I'd pack some turkey meat. I'd pack some almonds. I'd pack broccoli that wasn't even cooked. And that was it was like disgusting looking back. And I almost ate, I'm like, I did not feed myself enough food. And then in the morning, I would have eggs. I don't think I'd have any carbs with my eggs either, because obviously, like I'm eating paleo, and now I think you can eat sweet potato, and I don't know, I can't even remember the
It's
full
pretty
specifics of
limited.
paleo. It's pretty
Yeah.
limited on carbs. So I wasn't eating a lot to fuel myself. And then I think I would have a yogurt after school, and then I would go to like a 2 hour basketball practice, and then I would go and train at the CrossFit class for like an hour. And I really was not eating that much food. And then so I was doing the paleo, and then I started doing like the half or the gallon of milk a day or whatever challenge, or where you would drink like a gallon of milk. Like, because I was like,
What?
I need to like bulk up. Like, I'm way too small. And I think I started this my junior year of high school. My coach was like, you need to like gain more muscle. So then I started drinking like a gallon of milk, which is disgusting looking back. I actually think Rasmus did this too. He told me about it. So that was kind of, high school days. And then I didn't ever really want to take actual protein powder because I was nervous it was going to make me super bulky for basketball and I didn't want to get that bulky. And then come college, I was still kind of eating paleo, but then I moved to Invictus and I finally realized I'm like, I need more carbs in my life. So then that's when I started eating like more rice, potatoes, oats. And then actually, this was another thing. Then I realized my freshman year of college. Sorry, I'm just like going on a full like journey of my food
I
here.
love it. I love it. Keep going.
Freshman year of college was when I was on Team Invictus in 2013. So I qualified for my first CrossFit Games. I think we took like seventh or so at that CrossFit Games. And then come 2014 was when I was going to compete individually. So I competed individually that year. But then what I realized, or actually what my coach CJ realized, was I actually wasn't as healthy as I should be. Like I wasn't getting my period. And he was like, this is a
Uh,
problem, Lauren, long term down the road. Like, you need to be getting your period. And so basically, come the 2015 season, I took off all like intensity off my training at the right after the games and decided to just lift. And I was eating like a bunch of fats with my food and just eating more protein. And so I started eating more avocado, nut butter, healthy oils like coconut oil, butter, and all of that. And then I ended up getting my period back, and finally it got regular, which I hadn't had in so long. And then obviously, I think my nutrition kind of stayed the same. Oatmeal in the morning, egg sausage. And then 2016 was when I discovered macros. And I
mm.
was like, wow, this is a game changer. I don't know what I've been doing because I was feeling a little bit just stagnant with the way my training was going. And I was like, I need to figure out something different. And so I started working with my friend Jen Ryan, who actually still is kind of on and off a little bit with my nutrition if I ever need help because she's my good friend. But yeah, I started macros. And yeah, I worked my way up to like 400 grams of carbs, 165 grams of protein. And I think I was at 85 grams of fat. So I was eating like a lot of food. And
Mm.
basically, I think once I started macros, I really kept that through my whole CrossFit career. And then obviously, I wouldn't be eating that much if it was the off season. But that in general, I felt definitely fueled me the best was like timing my carbs and protein right after my workout. Sorry,
I
that was
love
a
it.
really long answer.
That was exactly what I was looking for. So no, thank you. I'm fascinated by this. Okay, I you gave me so many more questions. So, obviously there is a certain way that you eat when you're training and you're competing. Talk to me about the difference between that and just like everyday life, Lauren.
So there's definitely a huge difference. I think it's kind of funny, actually. I've kind of noticed this while being pregnant is like people ask me, do you like crave alcohol? Or like, are you looking forward to like wine after you're done being pregnant? And I'm like, I don't crave alcohol at all. That's not what I'm like looking for. I've been competing for the past since literally 2012 was kind of my first big regional. So I've been competing for over 13 years. And I really wasn't the type of person who would just, go and drink alcohol or binge drink. I'm so focused on being the best possible athlete. So when you're trying to so focus on being the best possible athlete, like so much goes into your nutrition. And it's like you eat, sleep, breathe, CrossFit, and obviously recovery is everything. And when you can focus more on your nutrition, you feel better, you compete better. So yeah, I mean, I was pretty strict about my nutrition, but I think as my career like got a little bit later and later, I was a little bit less strict. Like it's actually funny in 2016 when Rasmus and I first started macros, my husband, he was like literally weighing his blueberries on the scale. Like he was that
Aw.
in depth with his nutrition, but he was like, he got so lean and jacked in 2016. He was down to like 205. And now you look at him and you just wonder, where did that fitness go? But yeah, we were so strict. And then as I got later on in my career, I was a little bit less strict. The weekend was kind of something I look forward to. So like Saturday would be like my cheat day. I'd maybe get like pizza and ice cream in the evening. And then maybe even on Sundays, I treat myself to a cinnamon roll or a pastry or something. But then come Monday, which is the start of like the training week, then I would be back on my nutrition.
Yeah, for sure. Are you still on the macro train? Is that still like your way of life?
No, I am far from the macro train now that I'm retired And obviously, growing a human being, I mean, I definitely knew I wasn't going to be able to sustain macros for my whole life. I mean, it's not sustainable weighing and measuring all your food. It also doesn't make it very enjoyable cooking dinners when you're like looking at how much butter goes into a recipe, or like to my husband, oh, we need to split this evenly so I know exactly how much fat I'm getting. It's so
Yes.
mentally draining. And so when I was done competing, I definitely was like, I'm not weighing or measuring my food. I still like, for example, when I make myself a yogurt snack, I sometimes will just weigh my yogurt because I want to make sure I'm getting enough protein in. I just want to make sure I'm eating enough. So even like sometimes I'll throw my lunch onto a scale to make sure I'm like at least hitting 5 ounces of meat, because I feel like
Yeah,
sometimes then I won't be eating enough. So it's
sure.
more to like kind of keep myself accountable, because now I know how I should be eating, but definitely not doing macros.
Yeah. And I was curious about that because with my clients, a lot of them come to me asking me about macros. They've kind of heard about it. And yeah, I track macros for a long time too. And really what I say is macros are phenomenal if your career depends on your physique in some way. If you're an athlete, you're a model, you're, something where how you look, like you need to be super lean and shredded, then they're great. But quality of life does sacrifice. So if you want something sustainable, there are better ways. So I'm glad to hear that you are also in that camp.
Yes, I definitely.
Um, and the other question that I had too that you mentioned, so I know you have at least during training season, you have a coach in the gym, but it kind of sounds like you have a nutrition coach too.
Yeah, well, when I was like through my career, so my friend Jen, she started working with me like on my macros in 2016. And then so I would be like on and off with Jen throughout the years, but we became really good friends. And so she was really helpful for me throughout pretty much my whole career. And even in 2000, I think, was it 22 or 23? I felt like, because I kind of started swaying a little bit with my nutrition, and I wasn't so hardcore with my macros and everything. And so I worked with Jen, and actually I got like a lot leaner, which actually helped with my gymnastics and everything else. So yeah,
And that was helpful for you, it sounds like.
yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. What does Lauren do when she is not motivated? Like what keeps you consistent with nutrition?
Gosh, well, is this a question when I was like competing in my career, or is this now?
Let's go in between. Let's go off season.
Okay. I mean, we all have those days where, we're not motivated, or we wake up and we're just like, I don't want to go to the gym. I just want to sleep. I don't want to do anything. So, I mean, the same thing goes with your nutrition. And I think for myself, I guess it's kind of just been ingrained a little bit into my lifestyle, like growing up, and just my parents, I guess, kind of leading the way with the healthy lifestyle. Like my dad, he would work out with me in the garage, or just like eating healthy. I mean, I talked about how we ate McDonald's and fast food. So, but we did eat healthy like growing up besides that. But I think more than anything, it's like I think to myself, like, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. I know that if you fall down the trap of, oh, I just want to splurge on everything, you just don't feel good. And I mean, I have my days, both Rasmus and I are like, we just don't feel good after. And we're like, all right, we really need to like clean up our nutrition. So I think that's kind of the easiest way to stay motivated with nutrition is, okay, give yourself a day then to just splurge and eat whatever you want, but then know the next day you're really going to suffer from it. And you're gonna be like, this is why I stay on track with my
Yeah,
nutrition.
totally. I actually love when my clients have a day like that. They come back to me, tail between the legs. I went to In-N-Out and I had a double double and like, they just like
Yeah,
confess everything. But I love that because then I asked, well, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel terrible. I said, okay,
yeah.
so next time, remember that because that conviction will help you say no in the face of temptation next time. So sounds like you do the
It's
same
the
thing.
same thing with alcohol too, like over the holidays. You can easily get caught up and you're with family and stuff, and then you might have some wine like Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, my family likes to make these gin fizzes in the morning. They're like these frosted lemonade gin drinks. It's what my grandma used to make. So we'll make those for breakfast, and then in the evening you might have a little wine. Literally, I go through these 2 days of alcohol and I'm like, I'm done drinking. I don't want to drink
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Like forever. I'm done with
Yeah.
it forever
Yeah.
until next Christmas.
Until next Christmas to do it all
Until
over.
Yep, I get that. I totally get that. Okay, this is a topic that I don't know if you've spoken about too much in public, but I know you're a faith-based person just in my friendship with you. I would love for you to talk about how your faith has played a role in both your athletic career and life outside of the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really speak too much about my faith. I am Catholic and I grew up Catholic. I went to church when I was younger and I went to a Catholic elementary school, went to a Catholic high school, and then I've also, I mean, I've gone to Christian church with my friends, so I've experienced that as well. And it's something that I've always stayed, just believing in God is something that has really been ingrained into my lifestyle from an early age. And like my mom would teach me how to like pray in the evenings and I just feel like it's something I still to this day, like Rasmus and I will pray before dinner. We'll say the bless our Lord and just like I like it because I feel like it's an easy way to stay on a routine and it's something I want to carry over with our family. I really like the feeling of being grateful before dinner. And one thing is still struggling with is getting him to church. And I'm not the best. Like I don't go to church like every Sunday. But I do think Rasmus, for example, I think the way he lives his lifestyle, like he constantly teaches me, like, well, if you're believing in God and all this, then you should live that lifestyle and you should be kind to others, like similar to the Ten Commandments. Be kind to your neighbor, like go out of your way to help someone. And I feel like he really lives that lifestyle and constantly reminds me to live that way. And so I know that if I didn't have like just that belief in God, it would just be something that I would really struggle with. I mean, for example, the fact that I can grow a baby is such a miracle. Like the fact that they grow into these perfect little human beings from like just a little nugget. It's just crazy to me. There's been just like small points in my life that I definitely know God is with me. And even like when my mom passed away and everything, one of the last conversations with my mom before she had passed away, I asked her, I was like, Mom, how do I know like you'll always be here with me? And she was like, I know, Lauren, I'll always be here with you. Basically, she's gonna be watching over. And so I know like she's my guardian angel, and there's small little things that my mom just shows like little miracles that she's still here.
That's so beautiful. That's so cool. You guys can always come to church with us for the
I know.
record.
I need to get Rasmus. We should just plan a
Yeah.
time to go to church with you guys. I feel like if Rasmus had friends that went to church, it would make him more wanting to go to church. And that's actually one thing. I grew up Catholic, but I do know it's like it's different than like in the Christian church. Like I do feel like it just doesn't feel as relatable as sometimes when I go to the Christian church. So we definitely need to make that happen.
Totally. Yeah. Justin grew up Catholic too. And so
Oh, really?
when I brought him to my like non-denominational church, because I grew up Lutheran, which is kind of like the halfway in between. But when I brought him to this church, he was like, this is not the church that I grew up in. And we love it. And you're right. There's a lot of young people and young families. So yeah, we'll make it happen. But
Yeah,
I think for the dudes, it is easier to have a friend there, someone relatable just to like get their foot in the door. So
exactly. We'll make that happen.
I can't wait. Okay, the next question that I have for you, I know Grown Strong, your fitness brand is very much all about this. What advice would you give to someone who's listening who struggles with feeling totally confident in their body? They just want the whole food and fitness thing to be simple and not take up so much headspace. What kind of advice would you give that person?
I think one advice I'd give them is to stop overthinking it. I think it can be so easy to be like, I can't do this because you get so overwhelmed. It starts with small habits. Like you don't have to try and accomplish all of your goals at one time. So I think if you can
Mm-mm.
maybe set small, tiny, manageable goals, maybe this week I'm just going to focus on getting protein with every meal. And so literally that's your goal is like, okay, I have breakfast. Did I get protein in? Did I have egg, sausage, chicken, meat, whatever? Did I get protein with this meal? If you have a snack, rather than just reaching for like the pretzels maybe try to get some turkey meat in there. And so you're getting that protein. So I think if you just set small goals, or maybe the following week, it's like, all right, I don't feel like I'm drinking enough water. That's one thing too. Constantly telling Rasmus, it's such an easy thing. I'm like, just drink your water. Like literally, it's start your day with a glass of water, like with a little bit of lemon in it, a little bit of salt, and try to hit. Actually, we try to teach this in Grown Strong, but like hitting half your body weight in ounces of water. So it seems like a really far stretch, but maybe get like a water bottle that makes you excited to actually drink water and just be like, all right, I need to drink 2 or 3 of these today. And just like those small goals, like if you can just try to do that, like they add up. And then eventually you're eating protein with every meal, you're staying hydrated. Next, maybe you're trying to add veggies, like just small little goals, and just try doing one goal each week and then adding on to that.
Ugh, this is why we are friends. You, yes, preach it. Literally, that's exactly how my whole coaching program is set up. Just 1 week at a time. Let's do this one thing for this week. We'll check in at the end of the week. How'd it go? How can I support you? What didn't go well? And then we do the next thing. And it's simple. It is like one of the very first goals I have people do is just include one vegetable every time you eat. It can be one sprig of broccoli. I don't care. Just check that box. One thing every time you eat. So, oh, yes, amen, sis. You preached it. Okay, I have one last question for you that I ask all of my guests. What is your favorite form of potato?
Favorite form of potato? Like how I cook it, or like what type of potato?
Whatever your heart tells you when I ask that question.
I really love gold potatoes, potato chips. So I'll get the gold potatoes from Sprouts and I'll cut them up into really thin slices. And then I'll either cover them in like ghee, butter, or tallow. So you might need to melt it before throwing it onto the potatoes, and then add salt, pepper, and some rosemary, and then throw them in the oven. And you get some crispy potato chips. Those are my favorite.
Okay, well, I know what I'm requesting next time we have dinner together because that sounds amazing.
Yes, I'll definitely be making that.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time, busy mama, but thank you so much again. This was a really awesome conversation, and I learned so much about you, just from this avenue, this lens of nutrition. I know we're both foodies, and when we travel around the world together, we love trying all the things, but we're also athletes. You a far greater athlete than I, but it still is like you feel different when you pay attention to how you're fueling your body. So I've just been curious about your perspective on it. So thank you for being honest. How can, if people want to get in touch with you after a little bit of time postpartum, where's the best way we can reach you?
Yeah, so you can follow along at Lauren Fisher, or you can head to my website, lauren-fisher.com. If you're looking to join my fitness program, you can check it out on grownstrong.com. Maybe we'll link in the sub notes, a special little discount we can give to your followers. If you ever want to travel with us on one of our retreats, that's at retreats.grownstrong.com. And Chelsea has been on 2 retreats now. What has it been? Yeah, 2.
Two retreats and
And
then
your
the
husband,
reunion.
Justin, has been on 5 retreats. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely give a discount to your followers for the retreats if they've ever been wanting to come on one.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, okay, perfect. Because we definitely want to go on one of the next ones. So if you want to join me on a Grown Strong retreat with Lauren, yeah, we'll get you hooked up. We'll make sure that happens. So
Yes.
awesome, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, Chelsea.
I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com/foodfreedom and secure your spot in the Food Freedom Formula one-day-only virtual workshop. I'm giving away my exact method for actually seeing results without counting, tracking, or dieting at all, so that you can finally have confidence in what you eat and your body. That's coachreign.com/foodfreedom. And mark your calendar for October 23rd, the day you learn how to make the whole eat healthy consistently your lifestyle. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.